Hey guys, welcome to the Rat Grind channel. Thank you so much for your time today. If this is your first time tuning in, watching these videos, welcome, 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 and thank you so much for your time. I know you guys are busy. There's so many options out there as far as video resources, news on cryptocurrencies, and investments, and how to make money online and all that stuff. So I really appreciate you taking the time to come to this channel and support it. If this is your first time, please do subscribe. Leave a message below in the comments. Let me know your feedback on what content you'd like me to cover. Smash the likes if you can, please, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I release new videos on a day-to-day basis and you're informed about it. On this channel, I document my journey in the rat grind. Basically, that's my way of making the most out of my journey out of the rat race. I'm a full-time dad. I'm a full-time employee. I'm a dad, a big family, a family of five. I do a lot of different side gigs. I invest in cryptocurrencies, the stock market, lending. I also do, online businesses and stuff like that, internet marketing. A lot of these things I do on a day-to-day basis. So I share some of these things with you. I'm starting out really focusing on my Robinhood trading, which I've paused a little bit right now because I'm very, very, very busy. I don't want to. I've made some bad calls in the last week, so I figured I'll take a little bit of a breather on it, really understand what's going on in the market, and I'll get back into that. But cryptocurrencies is what I'm actively doing right now. So I want to keep you guys updated with that. There's a lot of content that I want to pursue. I want to share with you guys, but I can't do it all. So I want to make sure I give you as much of a structured content to keep myself accountable on what I'm doing. So and I'm sharing that with you so you guys can be following me on my journey. Like I always say on these videos, don't copy my strategies exactly, directly. Take inspiration from it, but do your own research and apply the things that you learn, and find opportunities that you see value in, and invest in those before putting your hard-earned money into anything. Make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. All right. So like the thumbnail and the title of this video itself, are we in another market crash? As you can see behind me, I'm on a live coin watch right now, and the crypto market is bleeding red. Some double-digit dips, which is very unfortunate because I'm holding a lot of these cryptos and a lot of these currencies right now, and they're dropping like they're dropping a lot, guys. And I think, like I told you guys yesterday on yesterday's video, we stayed in the green despite losing a lot of volume throughout the day. So I think that's really the catalyst for this big drop and continued correction, continued retracement of the mini bull run that we had a lot in the last couple of weeks. As you can see, the volume, the 24-hour volume is around 13 billion only. That's really, really small, considering a couple of videos ago we were looking at 25 to 35 billion dollars, and the total market cap dipped today to 375,000. I think there's still some residue of the event that happened with Upbit, and losing a lot of that volume from that exchange. So that's really affecting the market. And I think right now there's a lot of things, in my opinion, that's happening in the market. Like we've discussed in some news that I've shared with you guys, there's a lot of over-the-counter trading that is being brought in by a lot of these big institutional banking institutions to allow trades or purchases of cryptocurrencies to happen outside of the market so that it doesn't affect the price. Although that's a good thing, because of the fact that if they do sell, it doesn't dip the market. But then again, we don't know if they're able to buy these coins at a lower price and then they're dumping it on the market. That's one possibility of what's happening. Of course, I'm not sure about that, but I can see that potentially happening. So they're buying these cryptocurrencies offline, over the counter, without going through the traditional market. So it's not pushing the prices up, because the massive purchases that are happening, and then they go ahead and go back into the market and dump it. That could potentially be what's happening. Another thing too is, because there's not a lot of volume that's happening now, because there are a lot of offline trading that's happening, then it's not affecting the price on a positive way as well. So there's really a catch-22 there. If these massive institutions are dumping Bitcoin, trying to manipulate the price, that is bad, because it drops the price significantly, because they can sell at a loss. Or maybe it's not a loss for them because they purchase it a lot cheaper. But it's a loss for us if we buy in at the wrong time. But at the same time, if they're doing over-the-counter trades, then they're not going to the market, so it's not helping the market push up also. So there's a lot of good and bad things that can occur because of that fact. So just keep that in mind, but don't be alarmed, guys. The charts, the all the technical indicators still say that we are still just having a minor correction. And like I told you guys yesterday, we're not out of the woods yet. There's strong support on the 8,000 level of Bitcoin. And that's what we could drop into because we weren't able to push through the resistance that we encountered on the 10,000 level. And then we weren't able to hold the 8,800 level. And so we're dipping down. And of course, what happens is when that happens, then a lot of these cryptocurrencies fall. And we've been reporting about consensus, how it's a catalyst for a massive bull run. But right now, that's not what's happening. But it can also speak to the fact that maybe a lot of the people that do trade, because there's not a lot of retail investors in this space yet, because it's still young, Like, I haven't been in this industry for, I think I've pretty much only been here for about 6 months. And a lot of the YouTubers that I follow have only been around for about a year or a year and a half or so. Of course, there's a lot of those guys that have been around for a long time, but a lot of the newer guys that are in the space are relatively new. Think about it. Ethereum hasn't been around for years and years. They started in 2015. Cardano, for example, Bitcoin Cash, just forked last fall. So a lot of these coins are relatively new. It was all just Bitcoin for a very, very long time, and then Ethereum came about, and all these other ones soon followed. And another thing that I think you need to consider as well is a lot of the cryptocurrencies that we have, the token markets are essentially derived from Ethereum. Let's check this out. So if you go to coin market cap, let's change this to tokens, right? So full list of tokens. Let's see here. So as you can see, guys, check this out. So there are, let me just okay, so if you look at the market cap, right, a lot of the top a lot of the top projects still were derived from an Ethereum based token, right? So Tron, EOS, VeChain, Icon, Binance, Omi's Go, Zilliqa, Eternity, 0x, Biden, Populous, Archain. Look at this, guys. There's so many Ethereum based tokens out there. So what happens is a lot of these coins now are developing and releasing their own mainnet, are releasing their own blockchain-based tokens, right? Cryptocurrencies in their own blockchain, just like Neo, for example, right? EOS is one big example of this. So what happens is when they do that, they're going to freeze those Ethereums. They're not going to sell them off, or they're going to convert them into their own currency. So what's happened is the circulation of those Ethereum are going to be converted, and so that's going to decrease the volume that's happening in the market, right? So that's also a catalyst of what's happening. Another thing that you should consider in a lot of these drops that happen is, there's a lot of ICOs, a lot of new coins, a lot of new tokens that are created every single month, every single week. So a lot of these people, like a lot of these projects, of course, they will they will do an ICO, and then they will use Ethereum as a means to be able to get investments, right? Like for me, when I invest in an ICO, for example, I then go ahead and use Ethereum to purchase into these ICOs. Um, and what happens is, of course, these people need to fund their project, so they need to dump those Ethereum tokens. So you just have to consider those things, guys. I know that's not really talked about, and I haven't really seen any videos about that. But keep that in mind. That's potentially that's what could happen to a lot of these currencies, and when they do ICOs on Cardano, ICOs on Neo, ICOs on EOS, this could potentially also happen because they're gonna get those EOS tokens. They need to convert them into US dollars because, I mean, come on, like really, if they need to pay rent, they need to pay salaries and stuff like that. The world still does not revolve around accepting cryptocurrencies only. So they still need to be able to convert these things into fiat currency, into dollars or ruble if they're in Russia, wherever they are. They need to be able to convert these currencies, these cryptocurrencies, into actual fiat currencies for people to be able to actually, work in them. So just keep that in mind as a reasons for sometimes stagnating of prices or dropping of prices. But overall, that's why I always say, really understand the cryptocurrencies, the projects that you're investing in. Like I told you guys yesterday, I'm working on a course. It's going to be a very comprehensive course. I'm taking all the basic stuff all the way to the advanced stuff, technical analysis, how to ICO investing, how to analyze a project. I've been reading a lot of books on venture capital. excuse me. I've been reading a lot of venture capital, angel investment, seed investment, and how these angel investors analyze a project that they're getting into. A lot of the .com space, that's where I come from. A lot of the startup space, what these VCs, what these angels do to analyze opportunities, and then I'm trying to apply that into the ICO space. I'm also reading a lot of books on trading, trading mindsets of some of the top economic stock investors that are made billions of dollars, and reading up on their bio, reading up on that. So I'm going to be sharing all of that with you. It's going to take time to produce this course, but I feel that's going to be really, really helpful for you guys. And I'm trying to see how I can give it out to you guys at a really, really low cost or almost free. So I'm going to figure out how to be able to do that for you guys, so that I can continue to build on it. So it's worth your time. So I'm gonna do that for you, for the community. Of course, I think what I will probably do, if you will be a follower or a listener to our community, then I'll be able to give you a code so that you can be able to just get the access to this particular course that I'm working on. So I'm really excited to show you that, so that you could be able to really understand the crypto opportunities that we are in and really take full advantage of it. All right. Well, so let's check out our Bitcoin chart that we've been looking at in the last couple of weeks. So as you can see, guys, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart. There is a small green candle here, guys, but as you can see, we are in a bear trend right now. Lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, and then lower lows again. That is a sign of a bearish trend. So as you can see, we're forming a downward trend here. You can see the three touches here. Actually, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, guys. So that's really a bearish trend right there on Bitcoin. But like I said, we can still potentially drop to this 8,000 level, and then this would provide us some level of support. As you can see, there's some buy supports here, some buy support here, buy support here. So that is something that we really, really need to watch out for. Ethereum is relatively similar, although Ethereum has been holding out a little bit better than Bitcoin, as you can see. It's again bouncing off this support level right here, this 6,000. I'm sorry, $670 level. So we can see if that continues to happen. It dropped above below the 15-day EMA, and but it's not quite as bad of a trend, bearish trend, like Bitcoin. So we just have to look forward to this and see how this bounces back. Right it's currently right on the support line right here. There's good support that's holding on to right now. So we'll see how this holds up. But you can see if you look at the ETH BTC pair, it's not this. It's different. So it's in a bull run, right? As you can see, it's higher highs, lower highs, higher highs, lower highs. So from an Ethereum Bitcoin trading perspective, which I also trade this pair, right now I'm up on this particular trade. I'm waiting for it to go up even more, and then I'm gonna sell my position. So that's another thing that I want to talk to you guys about. There's a lot of people that are proponent of hodling, right? Just holding your positions, and then there's people that also trade. I do both, and a lot of people do both, but it shows you that because there's not enough investors or retail people in the space. So the things that we do, when I take a profit, that's gonna cause some drop in price because I'm selling off my position. And so that's something that is a little bit difficult, but it is what it is. We just need to get more mainstream adoption and mainstream the retail investment that comes back into the market. There was a big hype, back in the December, late last year, which made cryptos shoot to unprecedented levels. But a lot of that bullish sentiment has faded because a lot of people got burned. So I mean, you cannot blame them for being gun shy on getting back into the crypto space because they got burned massively. Some people, they sold their homes and cashed their 401ks and bought Bitcoin at 20K and it dropped to 6,000. You can imagine the massive losses that a lot of these retail investors incurred. Some of them, they got into ICOs. They didn't really understand how to do it. There wasn't a lot of regulations from it, so they got burned there too. Another thing too that that is stopping a lot of these retail investors from coming back is taxes, right? Here in the US, it's sad because the way the multiple governmental agencies are treating cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and a lot of these other ones is very confusing. The SEC says these are securities. The CFTC say these are commodities. From an IRS's perspective, from a tax perspective, these are property, real property. So you're going to pay taxes whenever you make a trade. That's why for me, I minimize the trades that I do because I know I have to pay short-term capital gains on them. If I hold it for a long period of time, then I don't have to pay taxes until I sell them because I'm holding on to them, which majority of my investments are long term, but I still do play the trades because there's opportunities to increase my buying position in my Ethereum, my Bitcoin position. So I do that on a regular basis, but not as regular as I would like and not as much as I would like because of the fact that taxes are holding me back because I don't want to just give up 40% of my gains just on taxes alone. And basically the way it works is you have to pay taxes whenever you trade. So you buy dollar to Bitcoin, right? So don't pay taxes on that. But when you buy Bitcoin to Ethereum, for example, you make a little bit of gain, you sell it, you go back to Bitcoin, you have to pay taxes on that gain. You go into an altcoin, you buy that altcoin, you trade that altcoin, you pay a gain on again. So as you're going back and forth, you're having to really track these transactions and you have to pay taxes on them. So a lot of people got a big wake up call with that because a lot of people made a lot of money. So they're having to really go through all of those all those negative effects that had happened in the last couple months that is making them shy away from coming back into space. Yeah, so it's definitely something that we need to watch out for, but I'm still very bullish on this because I think I saw it at its worst time. I mean, I'm not saying that's not going to happen again, but I really, really feel from don't take as the gospel. I mean, I'm doing my own research. I suggest you do so as well. But I think once we get this explosion of rise of cryptocurrencies, this next bull run, I don't really see us going back down into under 10,000, guys. If we are able to break 10,000, 11,000, and then 12,000, that's going to create a new catalyst for a next bull run. Even if it corrects, I doubt that it's going to go back under 10,000. So, that's my opinion. So we'll see how that pans out, and we'll see if, based on the news, based on what I've seen. I can't say that I've seen the worst because I've only been here, like I said, 6 months or so. I'm sure there's nothing worse than the Mt. Gox time in 2013 when they basically ran away with people's money. But I saw it when it was at its peak. I got, like everybody else, I got curious and looked at cryptocurrencies when it was 20,000. I didn't buy in. I did not buy in because I really wanted to study the technology behind it first. That's the kind of business person that I am. I really want to understand the technology. Before I got into e-commerce.com, I needed to be able to program my own website. I needed to be able to program my own shopping cart, create my own, and then work for a company that does it and learn from there before I ever started my own thing. So that's sort of the take that I also took in cryptocurrencies and blockchain is I needed to learn the back end of it. The CryptoKitties thing got me excited, got me like my mind's opened, and I really studied about how to create your own blockchain, how it works, how to create your own ICO, how to create your own tokens, how to create smart contracts. Learned a little bit of Solidity because I do have some background in programming, not extensive because I sort of moved away from the actual programming side and focused more on the business and marketing side. But still, I still have foundation. I can pseudocode. I can understand logic of how it works. So I really got into that, and I saw it. I saw all these people just jump in and pushed up the price into the 20K rate price, and then saw it like drop dramatically. So I understand why there's a lot of gun-shy people that don't want to get back into the space. They really need to see some more movement. But the consensus this week has been relatively bullish. There's really a lot of great news. All signs point to big institutional investment really coming into this space. So it's really important for us to understand what these news means, and so that we can be prepared to make the right decisions, make the right call, and take the right investments at the right time. So let me share with you a couple of news that I saw today. So Amazon Web Service, I'm a Amazon Web Services customer as well, for my work, for my own personal server and all that. And what it allows you to do is allows you to basically start up your own server, host your own server using the Amazon cloud, Amazon Web Services, Amazon servers all over. Excuse me, guys, all over the world. I apologize for my cough. coughs are just, it's a pain in the ass to try to get rid of. Honestly, I feel great. It's just the cough. Just whenever I'm talking, when sometimes I'm at work, I'm talking to a client, and I have to keep hitting mute because I just keep coughing whenever I talk nonstop, and it just dries my throat. So I sincerely apologize for that. In the last, I don't know, couple of last couple videos, I've been coughing a lot. And yesterday's video, I sincerely apologize. I stopped talking for like, I don't know, a good 2 minutes or so. I was talking, but I muted myself accidentally so that I can, because I'm getting embarrassed for coughing. So I sincerely apologize. So, AWS, Amazon is partnering with Consensus. Consensus is an Ethereum, it's an Ethereum design studio. They want to be able to simplify you to be able to create enterprise blockchain because, a lot of the blockchain codes, a lot of the cryptocurrency codes are on GitHub, for example. You can copy Bitcoin, make your own Bitcoin exactly just by forking the code, making a clone, and then doing your own thing and launching it. The drawback is you don't have the network support, right? You don't have the network effect that gives you the value of the massive distributed, decentralized nodes or miner servers and people that really support your network. That's something that you can't do. But if you are an institution that wants to develop your own blockchain, just centralized blockchain, you can be able to fork these technologies that are, because they're open source, peer to peer, right? So for you to be able to start your own enterprise blockchain, you could just fork over Ethereum's code, launch it on Amazon Web Services, and have your own version of Ethereum. You can name it whatever the heck you want. You could call it, I don't know, new crypto, whatever, anything you want, and then basically be using the same code as Ethereum. So you still have to develop. You have to know the background. You need to be. All right, just making sure that I'm back online. Okay, so I see the little microphone thing going, so I know that I'm still. You can still hear me. So you'll be able to launch these blockchain copies on the Amazon Web Services. So that's going to make it easier for enterprises to do the same. I believe Hyperledger from IBM Ready is partnered with Amazon Web Services on this particular thing. So it's definitely something to look out for. Deloitte is a huge, one of the top auditing firms in the entire world, right? And they did a survey that they saw that 3 out of 4 big companies really see a sorry guys, 3 out of 4 big companies see a compelling case for blockchain. They did a survey. 74% of the large companies. He says is across 7 countries. Wow, that's humongous. They really see a lot of advantages that blockchain can be able to bring. But like Jimmy Song was saying in in one of the last sessions yesterday on Consensus, there was fireworks on the stage where, like I told you guys, I shared with you guys, there was, he was basically saying that you can't just sprinkle like blockchain pixie dust or blockchain dust on anything and automatically it's going to get solved, because blockchains are expensive to run, they're slow, they're expensive, they're not as scalable unless you have like these, off-chain solutions or these like Lightning Network, Plasma, sharding, and all these other tier 2 layered solutions to be able to put on top of them, right? Of course, there's a lot more blockchain now that are able to do a lot more transactions, but it's still not as scalable. So you have to really think about what you put in the blockchain, because it is immutable. If you put something in the blockchain, you can't delete it. So you have to be picky on what it is. So, that's why I keep saying, when you're investing in these ICO companies, it doesn't mean that they put blockchain in front of their name. They're saying, we're going to be the next blockchain based YouTube. We're going to be the next blockchain TV. It doesn't necessarily work just because they say we're a blockchain. It doesn't always work. So you really have to understand how the blockchain works and the advantages and disadvantages. I think, back in the day, no one wanted to send emails because you had to sign into, I remember you had to you had to really sign in and figure out how to be able to log on to an email address using SMTP, set up your TCP/IP, all of that stuff. So it's crazy. So people just forget it. They don't want to do it. And file sharing online, I remember, you had to download an FTP client. You have to set up an FTP on like your local computer and another local computer and FTP there. But now you have Dropbox that has an interface where you can just drag and drop. So eventually that's what will happen to the blockchain. But until then, it's still quite clunky. So it doesn't mean that, companies put blockchain in their technology, that automatically it's going to be the problem solver. All right. So just keep that in mind. Another news that I wanted to share with you guys was futures exchange CME launches indexes for Ethereum, the second largest cryptocurrencies. I read this on CNBC. This doesn't mean that we will have Ethereum futures yet, because I remember when they did Bitcoin, they did the Bitcoin index first, and then a year later, that's when they launched the Bitcoin futures, which happened about, I think, December of last year, December 2017. So I think the futures for Ethereum is definitely coming, just not right now. It could potentially be coming in maybe towards the tail end of this year, Q4, quarter four, or quarter one of next year. So, but they want to be able to see how the indexes work for Ethereum and see how that all pans out. But read up on this news, guys. I think it's definitely something that it will be good for the market. But there's still uncertainty, like you can see right here. There's this this was an old news that Ethereum falls on report second biggest currency under regulatory scrutiny, because there was some news that it's actually a security. So the way they did their ICO, they're considered a security. So they had all that FUD going on, but that's sort of behind them right now. But there's still some uncertainty that's happening in the market with Ethereum itself, unless that's completely clarified and just the government and these government institutions just say, Ethereum is safe, then we can be able to move into all of that. Bitcoin does not have any of that problem, because Bitcoin never really raised money, right? I think all the rest of the cryptocurrencies had to raise money for them to exist. Bitcoin didn't. Satoshi Nakamoto just released a white paper. He created the Genesis block, transacted with Nick Szabo, and the rest is history, right? So there was no there's no access of funds that were really transacted. They didn't ICO and anything like that. So that's why Bitcoin is completely safe out of these regulatory requirements from the government. So, but Ethereum is not. So just keep that in mind. One of the big news today that I think is one of the biggest signs why I feel that institutional investors are really starting to pile on into the crypto space. I've been sharing with you guys a lot of different news about this, and it's just, day after day after day, that new institutional based news are coming in. We saw The Rockefellers getting in, Rothschilds, JP, Morgan Stanley starting their own thing. But today, Coinbase goes after Wall Street with new service for institutional investors. So this just came in today. They're calling it right here, Coinbase Custody. So they're looking into being able to, because they have a lot of experience in dealing with cryptos and they hold a lot. So they want to be able to leverage their experience to be able to keep and store large sums of cryptocurrencies, in blockchain. So that's something that they want to be able to do, because they've already started to do over the counter trades, market trades that don't have to go to GDAX, which is their market maker index, or market maker exchange. So they're looking at building out from their sphere of services. They're hiring constantly. I think there's going to be more mergers and acquisitions that are going to be happening to them. So there's definitely a lot of really, really great things that's going to be happening, and really allow a lot of these institutional investors to keep their money safe, to keep their cryptocurrency safe, because as you have to keep a wallet, put it in a treasure ledger, and all this stuff. You can't really see a massive institution having to go through all that, always scared of printing their wallets, putting it in a safe, and all that stuff. That's just not going to work for institutional investors, because you're transacting millions, hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and all that. So that's something that Coinbase is going to solve for a lot of these institutional investors. Another news that I wanted to share with you guys was Goldman Sachs opens Bitcoin to institutional investors, right? Like I told you guys a couple weeks ago, they're looking into doing an OTC, over the counter trading, and allowing it to be able to allowing people to buy into cryptocurrencies, a lot of institutions to buy into cryptocurrencies without having to go through and mess up the market. So they're coming into being able to provide a layer of allow basically institutional investors to buy into the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoins, because of their established network of banking institutions, or their network and connections with a lot of the big investors already. So by them being able to get in on this, they'll allow them to be able to bet on cryptocurrencies in general. So there was a quote here, eToro, it says, so his name is Maddie Greenspan. He's a senior analyst for eToro. eToro is a platform where you can be able to copy people's trades. You can look at their percentage, you can look at their returns and stuff like that. If you haven't checked it out, you can check it out. You can create a free account, but it allows you to see what these individuals are earning, and then you can copy their trades exactly. So that's what eToro is. So he said that, so they were trying hard to catch that bull run, and it seems they missed the party. November was a very interesting time. I imagine that clients in Wall Street banks also wanted to get in on that party. We know that party. It's when Bitcoin went up to $20,000. So they're saying that, they're getting in on this a little bit late. BitMEX already offered, futures, derivatives to, to exchange. I mean, for people, just regular investors, you and I, you can create an account on BitMEX and trade derivatives of cryptocurrencies. So, they're a little bit late to the game, but at least they're coming in. So that's really, really, really big news. There was another news that for some reason, I don't have here. Let's Google it, guys. It was Circle got major funding, right? Oh, here you go. So Circle becomes a Bitcoin unicorn, Bitmain backed mega round. So Circle, they closed $110 million in Series E. So now they're valued at over $3 billion. So they're a unicorn now. Bitmain, if you're not familiar, they're a big mining rig development or hardware company. So they're betting big on Circle because they really believe in this particular project, so that they can be able to get in on it while it's still small. Circle is tied to Poloniex. As you guys remember, there was some news. Let me Google that so you guys can see. Poloniex. So, what news is this? This is today actually. So it says here, Crypto Circle, one of the biggest U.S. cryptocurrency startup, has raised a new funding round to increase its valuation to nearly $3 billion. Right? But they were Circle's Poloniex is a major venue. So basically, they bought Poloniex. It's like a Binance, or it's like an exchange, a major exchange, cryptocurrency exchange. So they bought into that. Now they want to be able to offer their own version of a centralized exchange for retail investors like you and I. They're doing their best to make cryptocurrencies as accessible as possible. So that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, there's a lot more news that's happening because of the CoinDesk's consensus that's happening. You can go to CoinDesk, you can go to Cointelegraph, you can go to CCN News. There's a lot of them, but as you can see, there's so many news that's just happening. Like CNET founder backs 50 million ICO for video streaming. This one yesterday, there was a talk on CONTEN. This is a new project. They launched a Bitcoin wallet without you having to need internet connection. So, there's really a lot of great things. I didn't read this, guys. It says U.S. regulators say they want to avoid hindering blockchain innovation. Wow. Okay, that's really, really very big news. So there's a lot of things happening in the crypto space, and positive, guys. I don't really see much negative news that's happening in the space. So, for it to be in the red like it is right now, well, it turned to green just as we're talking here, but 24-hour volume, 24-hour trade is still in the red, guys. So let's see at coin market cap, what's the difference? Okay, well, the volume is a little bit higher here because they're tracking a little bit more exchanges, I guess. Yeah, but as you can see, look at that, guys. There's some massive drop. Yeah, so we have to watch this, guys, see what happens and see if we're able to break through. Let's check out the BTC just before we get offline to see what happens. Yeah, so it's still holding there. Let's look at the 30-minute chart and see. Okay, yeah, so there's some consolidation that's happening on the 30-minute chart right here. It's bounced off this 8,115 level. Let's look at Ethereum if it's the same. Same thing, guys. So it's bouncing off this 680, so 677 level. So it touched this resistance line that I drew here a couple weeks ago, and it bounced up and it's trending back up. So we'll see how that pans out. I'll keep you guys posted for the rest of the week. The last day of consensus is tomorrow. We hope that after that, these people that are trading cryptocurrencies can go back home and start buying up these cryptocurrencies, and we can see the green markets back again. All right. Well, this video was a little bit longer today because there's just a lot of things that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and I wanted to share with you guys. So, bear with me. I apologize again for the cough. But I am getting better. And I hope that in the next couple of videos it starts to go away. I've been researching online. It says, coughs can last for up to 18 days sometimes. So that sucks, but it is what it is, guys. So thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for supporting this channel, watching these videos. I love doing these. This is my passion. I just love learning about this because it's done a lot for me. It's allowed me to learn how to do technical analysis, really understand how market works and all that stuff. So and it's made me some decent profits. So I'm really really bullish on cryptocurrencies in general. So I love sharing these videos with you guys. I'm excited to get back into sharing my trades on Robinhood as well. I just been a little bit off of the market the because it doesn't trade 24 hours like the cryptocurrency space. So with me being busy at work, it's a little bit tough for me to get in on trades or get out of trades because I'm busy at work. So that's one of the reasons I took a break, because I have a lot of stuff that I'm doing in the office today, these past couple of weeks. So I don't really have time even to trade cryptocurrencies on my lunch break, because like today I even forgot to take lunch. I had to leave early from the office today because of the fact that my son had a concert. He's learning trumpet, and he had a concert event in school that I attended, and so I wasn't able to even see what was happening in the market. Of course, I have my tickers on my phone and all that stuff, but I couldn't see the charts of what the heck was going on. So I'm glad when I got home I got the chance to really look at this and see what was happening, and then kind of read the news and analyzed for myself what I think is going on in the market. So that's pretty much it, guys. We're at 46 minutes. I'm going to get this video done, and I'm sorry that it took so long, but thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for bearing with me. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Please do subscribe, hit the notification bell, smash the likes, give me your comments, guys. Please, I want to hear from you guys. I want to see how I can grow this channel, and I want to be able to do live videos with you guys. I think that's what I'm excited for the most, is to be able to do live videos and answer questions and stuff like that. All right, well, until I see you on the next video tomorrow, I wish you and your family a success filled day. I love you guys. Thank you. Bye. Good night.